Pretty cool, isn't
It-
it? Back there on the
Yeah.
chair.
That could have been.
I think we need a new chair.
Swap it out here. It is with the new system, or it's called the Zoom room.
So did you finally get the new, all the new
Yes,
stuff?
yeah. The only thing is that they're gonna wait to hook up the projector and do that once they get carpet in. But the Zoom room is on and it's got the camera up there. It's kind of like a 360. You can change it.
That one down there?
Uh-huh, yeah, right up there. Mhm. And it seemed to be really clear. You can hear real well.
The only thing you can't hear is with that. When you were speaking last night, I couldn't hear you.
Oh,
I could hear everybody up
okay.
here and everybody here.
Okay.
So,
And he did say that they do need to replace that. That it works and it doesn't, and, but it seemed like it shows power the last few times.
Well, according to Google, it's 6 o'clock. So why don't we get started? Maybe Lynn will join us here.
Recording it.
Hold on.
On this one.
So glad I don't have to learn any more new systems.
We hope this is our last one.
That's all we do.
Changed 3 or 4 times.
All right, so do we not know, or do we know if Lynn is with us via Zoom, or?
I don't see her.
Okay, well, maybe she'll pop in here in a minute. So let's do a call to order and roll call to determine a quorum.
Dave Craven's here.
Steve Jenny here.
Craig Campbell here. We got 3 members, so we have a quorum. About approval of meeting minutes. Has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes from the last meeting or joint meeting with the other 2 commissions?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes from May 5th.
Motion and a second to approve the minutes as written. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, minutes approved. Old business, the Aquatic Center. Denise.
Yeah, we're kind of getting down to an end, getting close to where we should be getting some proposals here. June 1st was the deadline for any request for clarification on the proposal itself. And the 15th, we have that set as a deadline to get any final addendum out. We've issued 1 addendum so far. It's on the website. It's also on your Google Drive. Just had some inquiries, just kind of the scope of operations, as well as they had inquiry if finding that it didn't seem to be a financially stable arrangement, what options do they have? And so Scott had replied and just said that we're open to creativity and different forms, any bringing in additional partners, whatever they felt like that was needed to make it a stable venture for them. So we have that out. Stephanie got that out on the website, probably, I think, yeah, April the 22nd, the end of April. We just got a couple of days ago on June 1st, we got a few more questions asking about demographics and population. So we do know that there's parties out there that they're pulling together, they're creating some teams, and excited to see what type of proposals that they're going to bring forth. And we probably will get 3 or 4, maybe more. We sent out to probably 20, 25 different law firms, architecture firms. And so, yeah, so I think by the 30th, we should receive some proposals. It won't be an open bid. I think he's going to gather by the committee to review those packets and then go through an elimination process and maybe narrow it down to a few for interviews. And then we'll take it from there. So,
What's the deadline?
June
June
30th.
30?
Yep. June 30th for the final submission.
That committee's already been formed, correct?
Yeah, I think it's that same committee that he's kind of worked with as far as stakeholders, those that are involved, like the park,
Good.
the swim club. Then there's the other individuals that have been in the community, part of the aquatic world, and then also the school system, and they'll be represented as well. So, yeah,
Ready to go then.
yeah.
Good.
I think so.
Excellent. Any questions on this? Cool. Thank you, Denise. Expansion of the TIF district and partial identification, parcel.
We've got a new map. Kind of had to work with our system, was being a little bit difficult. I'm not adding some, so we kind of had to go old school a little bit with it. But if you remember on the original map, there was about 42 parcels. And there was 3 parcels that were identified as residential. Those were taken off for the last couple of months. But then we really honed in and looked at those remaining 39 parcels. Scott and I sat down a week ago, looked at those, and removed quite a bit of it. A lot of them either are, we know that there's discussions about turning into a residential property, or very likely could be residential in the future. So those agricultural properties got removed from the map, and it left 13. We added 3 additional properties. One was a general business. It's number 10 on the map there, and off of State Road 38 there. And then also numbers 2 and 6, there was residential property sitting on adjacent agricultural property. And we weren't for sure if we can include them or if we needed to exclude them. And we learned that we can go ahead and do that because, you know, they may come in and develop the entire parcel. And if we find that it is residential, becomes residential, we'll remove it. So these areas are close to areas that we anticipate that could very well become commercial in nature, either by close proximity or there's already commercial businesses nearby. So these are the 13 parcels that Scott wanted to propose to have added as a new TIF district and expand it, and that would create then kind of our 4th TIF area. And then we've got on, well, first of all, do you have any questions about any of these particular parcels, or?
I don't have a question about the parcel, but
Yeah.
what's the process for removing? So what happens if those do turn residential and we've tipped them?
To remove a parcel, you have to go through the same process that you're adding. Now, just because it's residential, you're not hurt if it's in your TIF district. You just don't get the gain of the value.
Right.
The only time so I think it's best practice to remove, as Denise said, but if we forget, it won't hurt us. So if one of them gets in an extra year, that it'll just be, well, it went up in value, but you don't get it down because it's residential.
So there's no downside.
No downside. The only downside is to put one in that goes down in value. That's where you get stuck. That's where you have to yank it out of there in a hurry. And generally it's what I found, particularly I would say in this area, would be if there's ever an environmental concerns. That would be the one.
That is all farmland, so. Cool, thank you. Any other questions for Denise?
Jeff prepared, his office prepared a resolution. So we have that for you tonight. It's in your Google Drive. And this resolution, basically it's a means, the first step. So tonight would be our first resolution that would be signed of 4. And if this is passed, then we will go before Plan Commission at the July Plan Commission meeting. They will have their own resolution to pass to accept these as the 13 additional parcels in the TIF area. The third step, we would then go to the town council meeting, and we can do that, he said, in July. We'd have probably enough time to be able to get, get that in there, would fall right in line for the July meeting. And then we'll come back to our August RDC meeting. At that time, we would need to have a public hearing, but we'll then have a fourth resolution. And then once it's signed, we'll get it submitted to the department, the DLGF, right?
Yep.
And the auditor. And we need to get that filed before December, and it'll go into effect for 2023.
January 2023. Fantastic.
And that'll establish the base for those parcels, and then any increase in that is what then we would capture.
You won't actually see any money until.
So about a year,
Sure.
and then about a year, yeah.
Sure, but we got it going.
Yeah.
Quick question, resolution number 22 dash,
It would be one.
Oh, boy.
It would be one, this is the
Should
first
we-
resolution that we've done. Yes.
we fill this
Uh-huh.
in as.
Yep,
a-
yeah, you can, that's great.
It's
Yep.
fine.
Do we have the official one that was gonna be signed?
It's right here,
Great,
That's it,
yep.
okay.
Mhm.
So it's 2201.
2201 dash 01.
And the resolution, it basically expresses the interest from RDC that they want to add these parcels to the tax allocation redevelopment area. List the reasons why we have designated those areas. I would say probably what would be the most important is that the land is vacant. It's not been developed yet, more so than really being dilapidated or very, right, those types of concerns, but that it has the potential to be developed. And then it just kind of states there in the resolution that we feel that it's a reasonable addition to the TIF area. It conforms with our comprehensive plan. And it will serve as a public utility and benefit, and that we feel that it needs to be a part of the TIF development. And then also kind of reference on farther on down that the 2022 amendment will result in new property taxes. And then it kind of outlines that 25-year period of how that gets established. So it's not once we make this or adopt this as a new TIF district, but it will start once we bond or lease on the TIF district. And that 25-year clock will start. Is that right? Right?
Yes, exactly.
It just kind of ends that we've added these legal descriptions to the TIF area. So 3 signatures suffice
Oh, yeah.
on that, or do we need
Just a
to get
majority.
any more?
No, we have 3 of 5, we're good.
Three, well, Step 1
Do
done.
we need to vote?
Yeah, we need a motion
Okay.
to adopt the resolution.
No,
Yep.
good point.
I'll make a motion that we adopt resolution 22-01.
Motion and a second to adopt 2201 as written. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we've adopted that. And it will be signed by Dave Craven, Steve, and me. Steve Daniel. Be formal.
Forever. In history.
Now, the second one is also 22-01, correct?
That one, I would think we need to be 22-02.
2, okay. That's
Would
why I
be the
didn't
second resolution. that
jump
we need
ahead.
for.
-02. Got it.
And I love this, by the way.
Okay, yeah,
So
so
I
I
don't
knew
have to-
that you had asked for that.
Yeah.
And so did
Keep it in my
mine, so,
folder. It's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, okay. Sometimes I try to remember that more consistently. And we could do that for everyone if you'd like. They had requested just some hard copies for a binder at home, so if you all would like to, we can do that.
So resolution 02 is what?
So that is under our new business, and that is the pass-through resolution. And you ready? We can move on to that.
Please.
What that is, it just identifies the 3 existing TIF areas that we have right now. Then it's just kind of a statement of saying there's 4 paragraphs in there. The first one just states that we intend to capture all the revenue to meet our 2023 obligations. Those are bond and lease obligations, and that we do not anticipate any excess assessed value to be released to any of the taxing units. So we're basically saying we want to retain, we want to capture that for the budget. And then it also states in there that the assessed value is not to exceed 200% of the amount of the TIF revenue necessary to pay back those bonds and those leases, and also our projects that we've earmarked. And it gives acknowledgements that this will be placed in our meeting minutes, and that we are giving our president permission to sign the letters. There's 7 letters that need to go out to different taxing units to let them know that we have intentions to capture all those funds. And last, but not least, it just gives the body gives authorization to Craig Campbell, as president, to sign those letters. Sorry.
So do I have a motion to approve the pass-through resolution? 22-02.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second to approve the pass-through resolution 2202. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, resolution 22-02 is passed. And our signatures as well. I need to go on the date on both these also.
You can.
Adopted or approved. Second of June. Thank you.
We'll just need those 7 letters. If you could sign that before you leave, that's great. And I'll get those out on Monday.
Happy to do that.
Bill Scott was awesome. She prepared them all for us. Well, that's the least I could do. Get them in the mail.
Okay, that's everything on our agenda. Do we have anything else to discuss, John? Jeff?
No, sir.
Denise?
Oh, and do want to introduce Stephanie.
Please.
We've not done that. We kind of got busy in the last meetings, and so Stephanie Buck has taken my former position. So you'll start receiving emails and Zoom invites and all that kind of stuff's going to be coming from Stephanie. And she'll be here doing the meeting minutes, and actually has already started doing meeting minutes. She's done the last month of those, so doing an excellent job. So.
Welcome, Steph.
Welcome, but Denise on her first meeting to RDC brought cookies.
Good.
No, I totally made that.
Totally that.
That's it.
Anytime I can get cookies, though.
That was an excellent answer. but This is not my first. meeting.
Yeah, yeah.
And I worked for the court and Judge Jasper, so we take some.
Excellent. Well, we have nothing else to discuss. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second. Got a motion and a second? Adjourn. Thank you all.
Dave, I'm glad you got to see me. Yeah. It's getting used to the new gig.
Well, yeah, you're back on days, aren't you?
Yes, and I love it.
Is it good?
Yes, it's awesome.
Okay.
I charge a detective division now.
That's all.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
day shift
For
hours,
the weekend.
with a night shift.
Oh,
Craig?
Good to see you,
Nice seeing
gentlemen.
you.
Thank you,
Better
bud.
half, I set it up.
You did?
Will do.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're having.
see you on
baby
Saturday.
shower Tuesday.
Saturday.
So
Oh,
I gotta finish
for
getting. ready
Joe's-
for
Joe's
that.
thing, yes.
We're gonna have it for.
Yes.
Bye, Dave. Have a good
Is that like
day.
2 to 4?
Oh,
2 to
yeah.
5, I think.
5, yeah. Missy just reminded me of that. She goes, we have to get all ready. I said,
But,
all right, we just can't
Yeah,
show up.
so,
We gotta
we're
try
having
to.
the Red Barn